Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and this is a video about the Sagittarius new moon for twin flames. Um, at first, I just want to thank everyone who has been watching these videos, sharing, liking, subscribing. I really appreciate you. It means so much to me that you would find some value in the way that I look at the stars. Um, I wanted to take a moment to say that, uh, when I first came onto YouTube and started doing this, I just wasn't sure how it was going to go. I know I read the chart very differently than most astrologers do. My guides have given me a lot of channeled guidance on how I am to be reading these stars, and it's unique. It's not a perspective that a lot of people take. And honestly, I wasn't sure if it was something that would really help people out or serve them. And so, you know, I look at your comments, I read them, I don't get the chance to respond to all of them. And for every like, for every share, I am so grateful that you would take the time to, you know, let me know that this resonates for you in some way. That means a lot to me. That we get to have this kind of community, that we get to break the barriers of isolation and separation that so often come with being a twin flame. So, I also know from having read so many of the comments that many of you are talking to one another and supporting one another and cheering one another on in each of your journeys. And that is just so awesome to see that, for so many who feel that they cannot have this conversation with their community or with their family, that you're able to find a place to have a conversation about what's actually going on for you in the comment section of these videos. Like I said, I know I can't respond to everyone, but I do see them all. And I just want to say I really appreciate the ways in which each of us have the chance to be connected. So this new moon in Sagittarius, I'm calling this like the 2020 new moon. I don't even know what I'm going to call this video yet. I'm sure something will arise in the reading of this chart, but I have noticed that the signature energy of this new moon is tied into an eclipse cycle that starts in the middle of 2020 on the Sagittarius Gemini axis. So the Sag Gemini axis, meaning here's Sagittarius up here in the upper left part of your chart, lower right, here's Gemini. They work together. They are opposite signs in the zodiac. They are, exactly opposite one another on the wheel. And as such, there's a linked energy between the two of them. And these are energies on the mutable axis. There are three modes or core energies in the zodiac, one being mutable, which is all about the capacity to shapeshift, to transform, to move from one season to the next. And then there is the cardinal axis, which is all about the capacity to begin a new thing. It's the start of a new season. And then there's the fixed signs and the fixed axes, which are about sustaining, allowing things to have continuity. And for an eclipse season to happen on the shape-shifting, the transformational axis that includes the sign of the twins, Gemini, and its opposing sign, Sagittarius, I gotta say, 2020 and 2021 are going to be big years for twin flames, really significant years. That Gemini, governing the sign of the twins, transformation, and alchemy being what twins have come to the earth to bring to the realm of relationship, the realm of love, the realm of partnership. Sagittarius being all about unity consciousness, moving out of the exploration and into a singularized truth. I think a lot of us are going to find that 2020 and 2021 are defining years for our twin flame connections. We'll find that these are the years where certain breakthroughs may have occurred that we didn't see coming, as eclipses can bring surprise and outer world shifting that changes the way our circumstances align and play out. So I'm really excited, and I'm especially excited because this is the new moon where we get to set intentions for that. It is the new moon connected to that cycle and that season, the Sag Gemini eclipse season. And as such, it allows us to say, hey, this is the new beginning that I want to vote for with my actions. And the reason why action is so important with this new moon is if you take a look over here on the left side of your screen, you'll see that under the elements, fire, earth, air, and water, there are little to no air sign placements. We've got Juno, the divine feminine, in an air sign, along with Makemake and the creation goddess Haumea. But for the most part, all of the action from the core planets are taking place in fire signs, which represent the realm of the spirit. Earth signs representing the 3D and the physical world, and water signs representing emotion. You put all this together, and we've got a new moon that is saying, put your money where your mouth is. This moon is saying, I don't want talk, I want action. This new moon is saying, if you want it, show me. And so this is a new moon where we have the opportunity with our behaviors to vote for the kind of future and the kind of changes that we would like to occur as this eclipse cycle unfolds in 2020. Now, as you know, you can't control your twin. You can't only control your own journey. And so there are some of you I've spoken to in the last several weeks who have said, Kay, all I want is a union. And others of you who have said, all I want is to get off this crazy ride. And to both groups, I will say, be careful what you wish for. Make sure it is specific and make sure that you are vibrating and aligning your life in harmony with what it is that you are asking for at the time of this new moon. There's very few people, there's some, but not a lot, whom I've spoken to in the last several weeks for whom I can look at the chart from the astrology and say, you know what, I can see that 2020 is a year where if you two want this, the universe is supporting and opening doors to facilitate a union or a massive step forward together being permitted. It's everything's aligning for the two of you to begin the process of solidifying this connection in the 3D world if both of you want it. On the other hand, I've seen even more people who have, before this really comes together sometime in 2021, it looks a little bit more like 2020 is a year of solidifying the changes required to build a foundation. So if you're curious which camp you fall in, I highly recommend that we take some time to do a reading sometime in December. Looking at your chart, your twin's chart, your union chart. You don't have to have the time of your twin's birth. But if you know the location and if you know their birthday, then we can proceed. The union chart is simply the date, time, and location the two of you met or had a significant first. So I've had twins I've read for that met in the 80s, and they don't they don't know what day that was, but they came back into contact in like 2010. We can use that 2010 date to be the date that signifies when the two of you came together on planet Earth as a singular energy, creating a journey forward in time as your union chart. Now, the union chart will not show whether or not you two are destined to be together. Stars don't work like that. The stars can influence our circumstances, but they do not control them. Each person in the connection has to choose this in order for it to actually come together. As you, I'm sure, if you've been on this journey for a while, you have probably seen that, there is no chain or collar around your twin's neck saying, you will come and you will do this, and it has to go this way. As much as we all wish there was something destined that forces it, there's not. There's just the energies of growth, what we're meant to be growing through right now. And when the energies signify, growing together looks a lot easier than growing in your own camps at this time. So we're going to have you two do some work together for some time. That stuff can be found in the union chart. We also compare it to your individual chart. So if you want a reading, just email me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, and we'll have a look at your charts and see what type of year 2020 is for your connection. You can find the email information below in the description box. So there's also a couple of other interesting things going on with this new moon. So this new moon is conjunct Pallas. Pallas Athena is the like the male counterpart to Mars. She is female assertion, female to some readers, aggression. She is a warrior. She is a protector. She's a protector of what matters, a protector of what's natural and of the earth realm. And Athena, sitting with this new moon in the sign of unity, consciousness, truth, and freedom to follow the truth, is letting us know that all of us are starting a cycle where we are feeling even greater willingness to defend our truth and take a stand for it. I talk a lot more about that take a stand energy that's in the air right now in the general video for this Sagittarius new moon. So be sure to have a look at that if you're really feeling this kind of like back against the wall, need to push back energy against anything that might be creating oppression or constriction in your world. If that's coming forward, definitely have a listen to that video, because I talk about how to work with this energy in your life, because this is definitely a choice point for all of us as it pertains to what truth and what freedoms we intend to defend. Inside of our twin flame connections, this is all about having that deeper look at the meaning of this connection for ourselves, how we have grown, how we have learned, what it is we are going to take a stand for as we launch into this new decade, 2020, into this new year, 2020, and into this new movement of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So one of the things that I love about this new moon as well is that it is the first new moon speaking to the planets that I read as divine feminine and divine masculine moving into their new positions in the chart. So I have been shown to read divine feminine as Juno, divine masculine as Jupiter. Specifically because as gods on Mount Olympus, a lot of their mythology represents the absolute worst of love. And we as twins are here to undo that as God beings on planet Earth. We are here to bring forward the absolute best in love, to transcend those negative patterns. When it comes to love and relationship, we're here to transcend and transmute those by living through them, overcoming them, and stepping into a new paradigm on the other side. So Jupiter and Juno is how I have been shown to read the twins. You may find other astrologers who read this quite differently. So to your own intuition, be true. Take what resonates, but follow your inner guidance as you move through astrology readings with me. Now, the interesting thing here is that both of them are moving into new signs and significant new placements, and they're going to station in their new locations for roughly 1 year. Jupiter for a full year, Juno for 11 months. Now, Juno, the divine feminine, has arrived here in the sign of Libra. She just got here a few weeks ago, and she, in classic astrology, is the asteroid that represents partnership and marriage. She represents that working together to create a partnership. Libra is the sign of partnership, and Libra is also the sign of fairness, balance, justice, equity, equality. It is known as the midpoint of the heavens in ancient astrologies, or the balance of the heavens in ancient astrology. With the partnership asteroid coming to camp out for 11 months in the sign of balance, we have a very strong signature energy here of coming into balance within the feminine energies. The feminine energy has seen both the light and the dark of this connection. She has seen both her own running and her own surrender in this connection. She has seen the extremes, and now at this moment, come 2020, she's going to step into a balancing of her own energy. Now that could mean so many different things for different divine feminines and for the feminine energy in all bodies, male and female, and everyone in between. But what we're looking at here as an energy coming into balance is, as she shifts, something in the connection shifts. As she changes her position, as her energy shifts and moves out of the extremes and into the middle, her connection changes too. So I took a deep dive on what this movement of Juno into Libra means in my Divine Feminine 2020 video. I'll link that under this video so that you can have a listen. You'll definitely want to look at that, because one of the challenges of this energy, as you'll see if you're listening to the general video for this new moon, is that there is an invitation to move in from one extreme to another. There is an invitation to go, I'm totally surrendered, to I'm completely cutting this off. And neither one of those is the balance. Neither one of those is that middle road that says, I understand the far left and I understand the far right. And this one is the truth. Sagittarius, new moon, this one is the truth that I am going to act on. And so definitely let yourself feel into these energies, because this is more of a heart-centered energy. Even though Libra is an air sign, there is a way in which the divine feminine heart is leading the way forward in this connection as she finds balance within herself. It is her heart that stands in the leadership role of where this connection can go. Okay, now focusing on the divine masculine for a second here. So she just moved on November 3rd or November 4th. On December 3rd, the divine masculine, Jupiter, is going to move out of the sign of Sagittarius and into Capricorn. You see, he's here at 28 degrees on this new moon day. He's here at 28 degrees and getting ready to process into the sign of physical manifestation. So he did an entire journey this year in the sign of inner truth, the sign of higher truth and higher freedoms, the sign of our values, goals, and ideals, what we stand for, the kind of life we want to live, the direction we believe humanity ought to be going in. The Divine Masculine did a one-year tour through this sign, Sagittarius, in the year of 2019. This is the year that a lot of Divine Masculines got clarity about what their connection to their Divine Feminine meant. Now, you may not have seen any proof of this or heard any evidence of it, but I know a lot of you can feel a shift in the way that your Divine Masculine energy is connected into the space between the two of you and connected to you. And Divine Masculines who are listening, I do know that, many of you have gone through the process of going, holy cow, who is this and why does it feel this way? What do I need to do to deal with this? Not ready to talk to her about it yet, or my Divine Feminine counterpart yet, but I'm ready and willing to take a look, because this is unlike anything else that I have experienced before, and I'm at least looking at it now because I can see it and I can feel it in a way that I have never felt or seen anything else. So if you're having that experience, know that it's par for the course. It was what was on schedule for Jupiter's roll through Sagittarius. As we hit December 3rd, Jupiter is going to, after having passed the light of this new moon, roll into the sign of physical manifestation and park it there for 1 year, Capricorn. And Capricorn is all about work, making things physically real in the earthly realm through our work ethic, through our willingness to put in the work. So this is interesting, right? Because Capricorn and Libra, which is where the Divine Feminine is going to sit for 11 months, they're squaring energies. They're 90 degrees apart. These are not harmonious flows of energy. These are energies that say, it can't be your way and it can't be my way. There has to be a third way that makes this work for us. So both twins being called into a higher standpoint of evolution as we walk into 2020 under the light of this full moon, which is speaking to the Sag-Gemini eclipse cycle that begins mid-2020. This new moon in Sagittarius is the moment where we can set our intentions via our actions for the direction this ship is pointed. This is the equivalent of taking your ship and saying, all right, I know I want to fly east, or I want to sail east, so I'm going to at least turn my ship in an easterly direction, which means I have now cut off any options for it to go west or south or north. I am no longer engaging those conversations. I am going to lay those to rest and follow what my heart says, because my heart says go east. That's the kind of energy and the kind of work that can come forward with this Sagittarius new moon. And there is a ton of supporting energies from the universe with this Sagittarius new moon as well. So I'll get into some of those now. There's also some energies that are more tricky and more challenging. I cover those in the general video, so you can have a look at those. But let's talk about what's supportive right now so we can work with those energies and call them forth. Jupiter is going to, and Venus together, are rolling over the galactic center point just before we walk into this new moon. In fact, at the moment of my recording of this, they are rolling over that galactic center point. or they're conjunct at 28 degrees Sagittarius, having both just passed the galactic center point at 26 degrees Sagittarius. That galactic center point of our universe or our galaxy, I can't remember which one, should have researched it. It's a Googleable if you're that curious, is the point in which everything rotates in our solar system, or not in our solar system, but in our, I think it's our galaxy. And in rotating around that center point, there's also the Pleiadian star cluster. And for those of you who recognize yourself to be star seed twins here on Earth, the rotation around that star cluster is allowing us, and Jupiter, which is opportunity and mundane astrology, and Venus, which is attraction and luck, coming together, rolling over that particular star point, is us having the capacity to call out to our stars, our star beings, our star brothers and sisters, and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to manifest as we move into this next eclipse cycle. Can you back me up? Can you guys help me with this? Can you support me with whatever you got on the other side to help me bring what I'm trying to manifest into position, into reality here on the earthly realm as we move into 2020? So that's really cool and super awesome. Jupiter and Venus are also, as they move into the early degrees of Capricorn, are going to be speaking harmoniously to Uranus. And I love that. So in mundane astrology, Uranus really represents technology, evolution, surprise, shock. What I see Uranus as the co-created divine counterpart of Gaia, the heavens that she created to wrap around her as her lover. Uranus represents, it's another aspect of divine masculinity, or of the divine coming to merge with the physical realm. And so Uranus here in the very physical sign of Taurus, and then the divine masculine and Venus landing themselves in the very physical sign of Capricorn, lends itself to all of our masculine energies having 3D physical world support for what it is we are trying to manifest on planet Earth. Now, for some of you, this is going to speak a lot to either a move, because Capricorn and Taurus together can speak a lot to home. For others of you, this is going to talk about business, money, and job career transitions. Capricorn talks a lot about business. Taurus talks a lot about money. And still for others of you, depending upon the placements in your natal chart and in your union chart, this is really going to speak very directly to a physical world manifestation of this connection being able to come forth. So if you're curious about that, shoot me that email. We'll have a look at your charts, chrysalismoon@gmail.com. You'll get an autoresponder that shows you how to book a session. Check your spam box. If you missed it, we'll book a session for December and see how this plays out for you and your connection. The other interesting thing here is that Jupiter is going to be squaring Chiron. And so this brings a bit of sacrifice to the conversation. There's a little bit of something that's going to need to be given up in order for the opportunity to become forward, to be coming forward. Aries is the sign of the self. Physical world manifestation is Capricorn. Jupiter rolls past this new moon energy and into Capricorn very quickly right after the new moon. And this energy is going to say to all of the masculine energies inside of us, what are you willing to give in order to have that which you'd like to manifest at this new moon? What are you willing to let go of, release, so that the wholeness can become possible? What are you willing to learn about yourself or see about yourself? What are you willing to give up in terms of the way maybe you've been thinking or the way you've been behaving in your connection, in order for your connection to step into its 2020 iteration? Because the 2019 iteration is coming to a close now. It's already done for the Divine Feminine. She's already moved into her parking space for 2020. The Divine Masculine is wrapping his up in the next 30 days. In addition to this, let's see. Yep, the Divine Masculine moving into square with Juno. Juno is going to be squaring the nodes. The feminine energy is also having an energy of sacrifice here. So it's not just one of them sacrificing, it's both of us that will have to step into a letting of something go in order that this might be able to live. So in classic astrology, mundane astrology, a lot of astrologers will talk about the nodes representing destiny or purpose. I've not really seen it to act and function that way. When I've dug into people's lives and their charts, and I've listened to significant events that were going on at the moment they had transits to the nodes, what I have seen the nodes function as is more of a key that unlocks your life, that allows things to flow with ease once you have learned their lesson. So anytime life has gotten complex, you use the North Node invitation, the North Node lesson, to show you this is the way out, this is the exit door, this is the path back to ease. And you don't get to get off of the Ferris wheel or the merry-go-round. You don't get to get out of jail until you have done the North Node action. And under the light of this full moon and over the new moons of this entire year, this North Node in Cancer has been asking all of us to step into emotional vulnerability, emotional truths, emotional intimacy, emotional connection. It's been asking us to do that, not just with our twins, but with our soul family and with our born family as well, to reveal the real emotional truth, what's really going on with us. That's what this North Node has been asking us to do. And with Juno squaring the nodes here, what's interesting about this is that that sign of balance is saying, hey, and here's Capricorn, which is all about work, family, work, structures, institution, not family. That's Cancer. With Juno squaring the nodes, Juno is bringing to bear on this conversation some tension. The feminine energy, and many that I have spoken to, is tired of being on the emotional roller coaster, is tired of carrying the emotional weight of a connection that is both bigger than her and that she cannot control. It's something that at this point in the Divine Feminine's journey, at this square to the nodes, she's at a decision point. And I've heard this in many of my conversations. Many people have said, I just want to get off the crazy boat. And yet, and still there are others of you have said, I know I can't get off. I just need to figure out how to be at peace with how it is. And so with this Juno squaring the nodes, the invitation on the table, the conversation we're all asked to have is, how can you be in balance with the connection given the emotional truths that it has shown you about who you are? How can you be in balance with yourself given the emotional extremes this connection has taken you to? How can you come back to being centered in yourself, balanced in yourself, and thereby balancing the connection, given the 3D world Capricorn sacrifices that this has cost you? Where is the balance point for you? And that's what this Juno squaring the nodes is asking us all to take a look at. For some, this is about, all right, I get it. I can't keep not communicating if what I really want is a connection. And for others, it's about going, you know what? I actually really have stuff I need to be doing in my life right now. The chips of this connection need to fall where they may, because my life is demanding my attention. And my twin will either get with it or they won't, but I can no longer ignore what's happening. And still, for others of you, there's an energy here going, you know what? It's time for me to just tell my friend, my twin, the truth, or I've already told my twin the truth. It's time for me to just step back and patiently allow them to digest the truth that I've already shared and not push. So it's going to be different for everyone. What it is for you is really going to depend on what houses these nodes sit in your chart. What it is for you is also going to depend on what house Libra covers in your chart, and where things have been at in your connection up until this point. The exciting thing about this is that with the sextile to this new moon, the divine feminine is at a new beginning point, and so is all the feminine energies within us. This new beginning point is giving us the opportunity, like I said, to point our ship in the direction we intend to sail. So this is, again, about action, because there is no air here. This is not about, okay, now I'm going to tell my twin this. This is not about a declaration. These are about the quiet decisions in our heart that we take into our day-to-day life to create a path forward that allows us to live in balance with the connection and bring the physical manifestation of the connection that we want into the world. Choose carefully, choose thoughtfully, choose truthfully what it is that you most want when it comes to your connection. And be in alignment with that. Own that. If what you want isn't to get off the connection, but to just for the pain to end, then make that your true statement to the universe at this time and align your life to getting out of pain. But because there are so many people I talk to that say, not so many, but a handful, how do I get out of this? Is it done? I can't stand this connection anymore. I'm over it. And I see these people in the comments from time to time. And I know the truth isn't that they want out of it. They just want to get out of the resentment. They're done feeling the regret. They're done feeling the absence of love received. And if that's what's true for you, then own that and get into the vulnerable truth of that. That's that Cancer energy. Be in what's the vulnerable emotional truth for you, Cancer North Node. And then align your life to creating the healing. That's that Chiron energy speaking up to the divine feminine in Libra. Align your life that can become manifest as soon as the masculine energy moves into the physical manifestation sign of Capricorn. That's how to use the new moon energy for your twin flame connection at this time. Thank you again for watching. If you'd like for me to look at your chart and your twin's chart, chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. You'll receive an autoresponder with instructions on how to book for December. Be a pleasure to read for you. I look forward to seeing how this resonates for you in the comments. Take great care and bye for now.